Hey everyone, it's Andrian Software and I'm back. I'm not sure how consistent I will be with recording the next episodes, but the last time I recorded 47 of them, I received really good feedback. Thanks to everyone who was asking me whether I will continue with that. So here I am back. The length of the episodes will be much different right now. Previously, all the 47 episodes were focused to be around 6 minutes. Now I care less about that. I know some people prefer longer ones, some people prefer shorter, so there will be a mix of them. It will be mostly, as the last time, mostly me, so no interviews here, mostly my opinions, but maybe sometimes I will be doing some interviews too. And today, just to have some interesting content here, I hope, is the question I have received actually at least 3 times on different channels. So many people ask me questions on Snapchat or on Twitter or on my YouTube vlog. By the way, if you didn't find my vlog yet, you may search for Andrzej Krzywda on YouTube and you will find one. So the question was what I, as a programmer or someone involved in the programming world, what do you think about the bots, the whole trend of implementing bots and having bots as a kind of a user interface? And overall, that's what I think about bots. Like, they are a new kind of user interface, both very limited ones, but also very powerful ones. They have some context to be used. So from the user's perspective, there's definitely place for them to exist. I think they, as with any kind of hype, they will be overused at the beginning. But from the programmer's perspective, it will be fun learning a new library or a new framework which will help me creating those bots. But that's like with any API, right? The enjoyment, the excitement for me ends after I learn how to do the basic stuff, and that's it. There's like nothing really, not that much is there. So I consider things like bots, kind of the detail of my application. Hopefully I'm working on a project which is quite complicated business process inside, and the fact that it communicates with the user via the bot, this is just a detail and doesn't have any influence on the middle of the application that I'm working on. So this is just a one periphery. So you can have a web application, you can have a mobile application, you can have a bot, you can make it voice driven via Alexa or Siri. But that's it. But just to give you some more details and more context here. So this was an opinion from me, and I'm a programmer who focuses on working on bigger systems. So I'm not that interested in building toy apps which can be built in 1 month, for example. But I do respect any other people who prefer to work on such short projects. I prefer projects which are several years, so they can actually dig very deep into what's the value. They bring a huge value to the people who use it, and they're obviously big and complicated usually, but I will try to simplify them. So from this perspective, I could build a bot as a user interface for many of the apps I've been working on, but that still wouldn't be anything more than, 3% of the overall code base probably. So nothing to be excited about. However, from the user's perspective, as I said, this is a really cool thing, and the hype is deserved. So even I was wondering whether we should build a messenger bot for the Arkansas website, for example. That's an idea that maybe we will try. So there's definitely place for that. Now, as many of you know probably, I'm also involved in business. I like to think of myself as an entrepreneur. So I do understand a little bit about business, about sales, and about marketing. So if you're a person who considers, starting a company, or you're a programmer and you think bots might be the future for you from the marketing perspective, then you're right. Always being specialized, being in a niche helps with marketing, helps in sales, and helps with the business success. That's one strategy. There are many strategies, but this is a really good one. And if you, for example, create a new company today as a software developer or someone involved in the software developer world, and you call it, you put the bot even in the name of the company, like, bots power. or bots on Rails or whatever. And then you build the marketing around the fact that you specialize in bots and you really become an expert in all the bot frameworks. You know which bot frameworks to use, which bot platform to use, in what cases, from the business perspective, from the user's perspective. Then you can become an expert in a niche, and you can have a good business around it, whether it's a software developer services business, whether it's some kind of products. There is a big potential for that. But it's important to understand the distinction. Like, even if you are an expert here, you will, from the programmer perspective, if you will just focus on building the bots, I'm not sure I wouldn't have the fun of doing this. But on the other hand, thanks to that, you will get interesting projects where actually the bot is only a detail. But from the business owner perspective, from your client perspective, this is like the most important part. Then you will see that you can get interesting projects overall, where bot is just one part of it. And that's more or less what happened with Arkansas when I started it. It was a company from the beginning focused on the technology, on Ruby on Rails, and it was part of the Web 2.0 movement. So it was all about web. But the fact is that most of the code we usually write has nothing to do with HTTP, have nothing to do with HTML. And they have a little bit to do with JSON usually, but this is just the external layer. I'm not sure what's the percentage of the code involved in that, but probably not more than 10% of each project. So the whole complexity is somewhere inside, and it's apart. It's not part of the UI. So the same as we've had hype with the web, we're having the hype with the mobile apps. They do drive the business, but they don't change that much from the programmer perspective, because that's only the UI part, and usually the UI is not. Again, this is my perspective. For me, the more interesting projects have deep backend. Sometimes they have also deep UI. Then cool. If you like working on the UI part, then that's fine for you. I think with the bots, for example, then the UI can't be really that wide. But the fun lives for me in the deep parts of the backend, for example. But you can also work and have really nice UIs, and I do enjoy from time to time to work on JavaScript applications, single page applications. So that's actually pretty cool. I hope that my answer is clear here. So looking from three different perspectives, from the programmer perspective, I'm not that excited. Business perspective, if I would consider starting a company, that would be exciting to me. I like focus on bots, but I'm not planning to do it. And the third one, from the user's perspective, yes, that's super exciting, and that's a pretty good chunk of the business right now, that users will enjoy it and users will like it. But as with everything, it will be overhyped for the next 1-2 years, and then it will stabilize, but also the tools around it will stabilize. So in the future, it will be easier to just generate your bot UI somewhere there, probably. And maybe you can deliver such a framework for that. Thanks for listening. That was the first episode of what I call the Season 2 of Andrzej on Software podcast. There will be more, so stay tuned, and thank you.